Hey guys, this is Dr. Aeronautics. Today we are going to be driving MARC Penn Line Train 544, which is an R train. That means it's running in the coronavirus pandemic. We'll be taking it as far as Baltimore Penn Station, departing at 6:23 and arriving there at 7:24. I'm going to do this largely blind, so we'll hide that. And let's see, I want to open the doors now. And I'm using Rail Driver again. It's been a while since I've used this because I've done so much flying. There we go. So we're loading now, and if you were one of the people waiting in Gate B, all of a sudden you'd see your train come up, and then everyone would make a mad rush. Some people jog, you know, so that they get a good seat. A note about the train here is that I'm using a mix of Caltrain and the original Washington to Baltimore stock route together with the repaint mods by, I think all of them are Fanrailer, and the MARC trains definitely are the repaints, the MP36H-3Cs. And then, of course, I also have the 103 mile per hour gearing mods, so we'll get to go take it to some high-speed Penn Line service. Wikipedia says that MARC is the fastest commuter rail line in North America, although I think that probably ties with New Jersey Transit. I think they have some equipment that can reach 125, like the ALP46A, I want to say. Anyway, the first car is going to be a restroom. The rest of them are just generic, and the rear of the car is the rear of the train is the cab car. Let's see, we got 30 seconds to go. So, I actually built this consist based on a train that I saw in real life stopping at a, actually not at a station. It didn't even stop at a signal bridge, so I'm not sure why it came to a stop, but it did. But that's how I built this train. So this is a modern coronavirus operating train. Let's see if we can get the dial lights on here somewhere. Oh, time to go. One of these should work the dial lights. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to be stopping at every station all the way to Baltimore Penn Station. This train is supposed to go all the way to Perryville, but until I think it's Evan and Cactus Juice get their and their team get their Washington to Philadelphia line out, we can take this as far as Penn Station, and that's going to be really exciting when we can take it all the way. Uh-oh, we got the there we go. I was going to say, that's wrong. Got the rear running lights. And I need to remember to spend a significant amount of time in the cab because there is an alerter system and I don't want to miss it. I won't be able to hear it when I'm outside of the cab. And, oh my gosh, I haven't even pulled up my speed limits yet. Well, how do I expect to drive this? Let's see. For reference, I'm using a Northeast Corridor employee timetable dating from about 2000, so it's not perfect, but it's good enough for what I'm trying to do, to follow the schedule. Let's see, head out the other side. Okay, we've passed the signal bridge. Let's see, keep an eye on our time. We're due at New Carrollton at 6:35. And combined with this route and the timetable, the two are so realistic that the times are set exactly as one would expect them. So basically what that means is if I follow the speed limits exactly and make a perfect stop and a perfect go, you'll stay at the stations for 30 seconds if it is a smaller station, and a full minute if it's a larger station that Amtrak trains stop at as well. Now the cool thing about the overcast sky is this is actually the live weather right now. Okay, this is the Capital subdivision carrying the MARC Penn line splitting off from the left. No. We're going to come to a complete stop now. You know what's so crazy about that? Is literally the second I felt I remembered, that's when it happened. Right then. And I have a feeling the reason I probably detected it happening was... Come on, reset. There we go. Well, we're definitely going to be late now. Yeah, I was going to say, I think the reason that this might be happening is because as soon as I realized what was happening, I was probably seeing it at the same time and didn't 100% know it. Alright, we've got 4 minutes to get to New Carrollton. At this point, there's no way that's going to happen. Because if you run this schedule perfectly, you'll get to New Carrollton about 1 minute early. So I'm going to have to brake hard in order to make up some time. And don't be stupid enough to go outside without turning on your screen lest you get another penalty brake application. And just like that, I already made the mistake of doing that. That's it. So that's going to go off roughly every, I think it's 30 seconds, or it might be 1 minute. So every time I hear that, I got to press the alerter. And thank goodness I actually have a real-life alerter key that I can press due to the rail driver. So that's pretty nice, having a button that I can actually mash that says alert. It works really well in this train because the rail driver controls look a lot like the console controls here. So if I do this, then what was on the desk becomes my desk in real life, and now my gauges are in front of my console, which is really cool. So it feels very real. Now, if I was driving something like a TGV, there would be quite an issue because the TGV is controlled with a wheel. Gonna need to brake harder here. That's good. I wanted a pretty rough brake. I think we're pretty good right now for braking strength. We might be a little bit strong here. Yeah. Okay, 6:35 is what we wanted. Yeah, we're going to be about 1 minute late. I think I did come out of the station really fast. Dang. If I got this braking event better, we would have made it on time. I guess I should probably test out my dynamics to see if they... No, they don't respond immediately. I was hoping they did. Because dynamics are your friend when you don't know exactly how hard to brake. There's our friend, the broken signal. Yeah, we're going to be, I want to say 1 minute late as long as we make this stop correctly. Now, one thing that this simulator could really use are train stop indicators. MARC has train stop where it'll tell the drivers where to stop the train based on the length of the train. All right, load, unload, and pre-cam. Here we go. As soon as those doors close, we're going. Okay, 1 minute late exactly. Next stop is Seabrook at 6:39. It's so hard to believe that we're going to be there in 4 minutes. They are close together, but it takes so long to get going. And we have a reduced aspect because we're going to be moving over, so we should do about 45 miles an hour. That is unfortunately one thing this train is missing. Is in real life there is a cab signal aspect display right about there on the window column there. So that's displaying a medium, which is going to be a 30. But I'm pretty sure in real life, not in real life, in the simulator, yeah, the speed is 45. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. And Seabrook is generally last 3 cars, so we'll see if we can pull that off. Yeah, we braked a little bit quickly here. Oh man, not even close. Yeah, this would really help if there were some stop indicators. Alright, this is the last car. That's what we want right there. Okay, doors are opening. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars actually, so that's pretty good. That's a good stop. Let's see, 40. So we're still 1 minute late. This hill that we're cresting right here is pretty much the highest point on the entire line between Washington and Baltimore. No, let me take that back. It's between the Patuxent River and Washington, D.C. So after that, I think there's a high spot in Odenton between... It's either between the Patuxents, the Big and Little Patuxent, or between the Little Patuxent and the Patapsco. I have to say, I love the job that they did with these trees here. If you look out the window in real life, they kind of have this sort of, you know, trying to break over the track look. You know, instead of like fluffy bush trees, they did a really nice job with the foliage here. Okay, I think we're doing pretty good. Normally this is where you would want to release the brakes because you've under-braked, but we're coming up to a 1% down gradient. Yeah, I think I will. And we'll go back up to minimum reduction as soon as we get under the lines. This is the Jericho Park substation. So the power lines above us will actually connect to the railroad power lines here and that's one of the ways the Northeast Corridor gets its power. And the cool thing is, those power lines actually, if you trace them down, they originate in southern Calvert County at the nuclear power plant, the Calvert Cliffs nuclear power plant. So that means we are partially nuclear powered. Well, not this train because it's a diesel train. Alright, so 46... Yeah, we're still 1 minute late. See what I mean? You know, if you do it perfectly, you get 30 seconds, but we've been late the whole time, and miss braking, so we don't even get that. Okay, next is going to be Odenton at 6:51, or 18:51 as I like to call it. Then off to the right of the train is the actual Bowie State University. I think recently they've built a number of new buildings there. Oh, nice, that's a custom building. That is the way one of those buildings looks, which is really cool. Actually, if I remember it correctly, this power line is the one that originates from the nuclear power plant. The other two that we crossed back there originate at, I think one goes to Chalk Point Generating Station, which is actually on the Patuxent River when it grows and becomes tidal. It's about half a mile wide at that point. And that one plus these two, yeah, it's these two right here. These are the ones that originate at the nuclear power plant. And then back before Bowie State, the other one goes down to the Morgantown Generating Station. The Pope's Creek Secondary, which we actually passed right about when I started slowing down for Bowie State University. That one, let's see, I think, no, this is a 90. The next one is going to be an 85. Yeah, I was going to say that right when we started slowing down for Bowie State, that's where we passed the Bowie Y, which has the Pope's Creek Secondary interchange, and that goes to both Chalk Point and Morgantown Generating Stations. So the CSX trains that use the corridor and then use, let's see, Middle Patuxent there, and then they use the Pope's Creek Secondary, deliver coal, which generates power, which feeds some of the power feeds power to some of the power lines that go to the Jericho Park substation, which go to the 138 kilovolt towers, which are these up here, and then at Bowie substation and a couple others like Landover, that will then get transferred down to the 11 kilovolt trolley line right here, which is what powers the electric trains, not our particular train. All right, that's the Odenton MOW yard. That's the slowdown point. And Odenton is a long platform. So stopping the train should be a little bit easier. These brakes are difficult to work with the rail driver. I'm going to bet that if I wasn't using the rail driver, I would probably be stopping a little bit better. Because what happens is there's very little difference between you hold at 20 and then you advance, and it'll wait in a D-dent for a long time. And then you advance it again, and all of a sudden it goes up to suppression. Let's see how much of the train... Oh, this is the last car. As long as that door gets it. Perfect. Hopefully this is where we actually make up some time. 52. Ah, still 1 minute late. Well, at least we're not getting further behind. Hopefully we can get on time at BWI Airport, because the stay is normally 1 to 2 minutes at BWI Airport. So if we're still behind at that point, we'll never catch up. Looks like a stopped Northeast Regional. No, he's moving. Pretty slow, though. 9-car Northeast Regional. That's something you won't see until travel is considered normal and okay again. I miss all those Thanksgiving trips. Something like 50 or 60 million trips in the U.S. are made Thanksgiving weekend. And it used to be so much fun to watch all the trains and all the airplanes and all the buses and you know, everything else, all the out-of-state license plates go by. And now I'm getting nostalgia from lots of people traveling because of how annoying things are nowadays. Let's see, next curve we need to worry about is at milepost 106, which is coming into BWI Airport. That's a 90. I'm surprised I can see the sunlight, given that it's overcast. Wow, look at that track. I was going to say, that's... Now that's a cool picture right there. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I was watching that the whole time. I was just barely... I was like, oh, cool picture. And of course, that's when it goes, but I was prepared for it to do that. I think this is where we're going to top out at our maximum speed of, I think it's 102 miles an hour, given all the coaches we're carrying. So the thing is, our top speed is 103, and we'll never actually reach it because we've got the trains in the back, or the coaches in the back. Although we're getting pretty close to it. Yeah, my rail driver's saying we're doing 101. Yeah, we're slowing down again. That is runway 10. That's the slowdown point for the airport. So I'm going to try 40% if I can, because it seems like you do 20 and it's not enough, and then you do 60, it's too perfect. That's what I wanted, 40%. Hopefully this gives me a good stop. I'm fairly confident that MARC engineers will, and Amtrak engineers for that reason, will use about 40 psi to brake the trains. That usually yields a perfect stop. And I'm initiating my slowdowns based on where the engineers do it in real life. So it was a little bit much, but nonetheless, that was still pretty good. I mean, we're coming up to the parking garage. That's the station platform right there. Ah, it's the swamp. And it's a nice long platform, so we can wait until the train gets on and increase braking at the very end to get stopped. Hopefully we'll get on time this time. Alright, we've got the train. It's weird, this last car didn't open its doors, but that's good. 58, so 59? No, we're still 1 minute behind. But this proves the point of what I was saying, where, you know, it's pretty much bang on. So the slowdown for Halethorpe should be a little bit easier for us because we'll receive a restricting signal. I keep saying restricting signal. What I really mean is restrictive aspect. There's an approach medium. There's the Patapsco River. Kind of tidal-ish at that point. Not 100%, because I can tell you at the Baltimore-Washington Parkway, that's generally where the tidal line is. You'll see stones at low tide, and you'll see still water at high tide. But if there's a really big flood tide, like a spring tide, or maybe there's a tropical storm or hurricane driving water up into the bay and causing a storm surge, then yeah, you could in theory see tidal conditions all the way up here. Hello, release the brakes, please. Thank you. And of course. See, that's what I was talking about. The difference in my rail driver versus the dedents, the software dedents. My hardware brake will get stuck in the software dedent, and so I have to slam this thing back and forth like this until it understands that I've released the brakes. It's kind of really annoying. But at least we're on time. There we go. Okay, so next is West Baltimore at 7:10. hiding in there somewhere that we were racing for a little bit. He must have despawned. It's always fun to race them because they pass you at such a high speed, and I eye them. I'm like, just you wait 30 seconds, I'll pass you doing 85 on my way to 101. Every time I see something like that happening, I just think of the that one quote where Obi-Wan Kenobi goes, "Oh, it's you!" Alright, we just passed under Baltimore Beltway, aka 695. And right about the end of this curve, we'll be entering Baltimore City. It's kind of interesting, these factories actually show up pretty well on the old Microsoft Train Simulator PRR beta route, but they're much smaller in real life, as you can probably tell. Let's see, so I'm actually limited to 80 miles per hour here, and the curve at Frederick Road is actually at 60. So this is the first time we're actually coming up on the speed limit. Aside from a couple curves. Alright, that's Frederick Road. Perfect. And this one's 55. This is the Gwynns Falls Viaduct. Now, if it were rendering, downtown Baltimore would be right about here. You'd be able to see it cross into Gwynns Falls. What is that? 99? I'm pretty sure that's milepost 99. Come on. Now that's not a good place to put a milepost. That nearly ended badly. Now, I've never figured out, just because it's so small, how they stop at West Baltimore. I'm not sure which car they pick. It's probably the last car, because that's what MARC typically does, is they'll stop their cars at the station that are furthest back last. At the smaller stations. Perfect. Alright, go ahead and load. And of course, the dumb way that the doors work in Train Simulator, it's not You have to have a full car in order to load. But in real life, what they would probably do in this situation is open the rear car and the next to the rear car at this point. We'll call that done. So it is 10. Cool. We are departing on time. Alright, where'd my cab light? This one was the cab light here. Evidently not. Do I have a button on my... So I can do this one. There we go. Use the keyboard shortcut when all else fails. Yeah, I know the game is going to ding me for using my horn, quote, improperly, but they really do send the horn a number of times going through there. You know, that's not stuff that isn't done in real life. Oh my gosh. The dynamic brakes in the tunnel sound creepy. Let's see what track we're getting routed on. We're going on to 5. That's a 15-mile-per-hour track. That's the Jones Falls, and a little bit beyond is the Jones Falls conduit. Check out, it's like a 2-mile-long tunnel. Check out my other videos if you want to see a tour of a Minecraft model of it that I made. Now arriving Baltimore Penn Station. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I was kind of hoping that it would be nice and uneventful, and then of course I totally forgot about the fact that this train has an alerter, realistically. And of course I also forgot about it at the exact moment that the penalty brake application occurred. They don't give you long to respond. I think it's something like 5 seconds. If you don't respond in 5 seconds, you get a penalty brake application. So this is a little bit unrealistic in the sense that this train would never pull onto this track, because remember, it's going through all the way to Perryville. Now, we're due to depart at 7:24, and it's 7:17 now, so it is a good amount of time, but still, it's not something that would happen in real life. You know, in real life, we would be on track 4 where he's parked, so that we can continue on through the Union tunnels, which we'll be able to do as soon as Washington to Philadelphia comes out. Wow, that's a beautiful bridge, red and blue. Alright, we are done. Let's unload. All in all, pretty successful, I say. So, thank you guys very much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.